Time to talk basketball. Amin knows basketball. He'll teach you basketball. Expert in basketball.
I am very excited. Amin Elhassan knows more about basketball, I believe, than anyone in our world. Tom Haberstroh is pretty close. Renee, Kate are pretty close. But Amin really, really knows how to teach us basketball. He's been doing it for a long time around here. And you believe, tell me if I have this wrong, that the bottom half of the West is more dangerous than the top half of the West, that the Lakers and the Warriors and now that and the Clippers, that now when playoff time starts and the real basketball starts, we've been fiddling around. It's never meant less than it does now, the regular season, because guys are load managing. Everyone's getting ready for right now.
Yeah. I wouldn't say the top half. I would say teams 4 through 7 are a better bet to win the West than teams 1 through 3. And here's why. Right? And for those who don't know, 1 through 3 are Denver, Memphis, and Sacramento. 4 through 7, as of right now, are Phoenix, Golden State, the Clippers, and the Lakers. That could all change because Clippers-Lakers play either today or tomorrow.
We have the possibility.
Clippers-Lakers play tonight.
Yep.
Big Clipper Daryl bet.
Okay.
We have the possibility of the first round, correct? Or after the play-in, having Kevin Durant against the Warriors.
Yes, that is possible. It's also probably more likely because the Warriors lose the tiebreaker to both the Lakers and the Clippers. More likely we'll get a first round of Suns versus Clippers or Suns versus Lakers, LeBron versus KD in the first round. Meanwhile, the Warriors might play Memphis or Sacramento, depending on how things all
The Clippers are presently sitting 6th in the West. The Lakers are presently sitting 7th. It's a huge game tonight because you have the play-in positioning. 6 gets to automatically qualify, where 7 gets dragged into the play-in tournament. And, of course, if the Lakers win, Clipper Daryl has to change the colors on his signature suit to Lakers colors. But if the Clippers win, Shaq has to wear the Clipper Daryl suit.
Oh, my God. That's a lot of fabric.
Sounds like Mike knows more about basketball than Amin.
Because he knows about Clipper Daryl.
And I knew when the game was.
Stan says the Clippers are the most talented team in the West. Stan Van Gundy, which I find surprising.
They have a lot of talent. Paul George is hurt. We don't have clarity on when he's going to be back.
He's always hurt.
Obviously, if he comes back, you have to take them seriously. They've got a veteran team. They've got a guy in Kawhi Leonard, obviously, who's been there to the mountaintop and is consistently a great playoff performer. But let's talk about the other teams as well. The Lakers, let me start with the Suns, undefeated when Kevin Durant plays. I mean, they have been every bit as good as billed as we thought they would be when Kevin Durant was acquired.
Their bench isn't going to matter if he stays healthy and is Kevin Durant.
And Devin Booker is Devin Booker, and et cetera, et cetera. So, like, they're great.
That team doesn't even need Chris Paul to be great anymore, does it? Needs him to be good.
Well, he won't be, so they don't have to worry.
They don't need him to be great. They need him to be good, though. They need him to be serviceable, at least.
But he can be. It is quite a relief for Chris Paul to take a role of third best guy on a team.
He needs to be out there, though, come playoff time.
I don't even know if he needs to be the third best guy.
Fourth best guy. If all he needs to do is give him a few 20-point games here and there.
Yeah. The Lakers, obviously, we know that when LeBron and AD are both healthy, that's a great situation with the new supporting cast they have. But the
they
team
fixed it, huh? But before you go any further on the Lakers, because we've wandered away from the Lakers, and LeBron has dominated 20 years of basketball around here. Now in the locker room, Stugotz, have you heard the sound of the Laker teammates all around LeBron while he's being interviewed? They are drowning out the interviews by making goat sounds.
You got to be able to get stuff down the stretch, especially when you're playing against teams that have been scoring. So we had to get stops, and we did that.
Brian, where you think this dude is from, man?
I got to stay focused. I'm locked in, y'all.
Hey, just like in backcourt, Dennis and Austin average, they combined for 46 and 10. How important was that for what you guys did?
Makes it fun for our backcourt today.
They're doing that to Austin Reeves, huh? Huh?
The Lakers, you believe in them? We haven't talked about them for a while. I thought they were adrift. I thought they were goats being led to slaughter. and they look overwhelming. They changed. Did they fix it?
They fixed it because, Dan, here's what we knew about them, at championship year and then post-championship, what happened, which was LeBron, AD, and a roster of deep veteran players, a deep bench, veteran supporting cast that aren't minimum players, that aren't guys past their prime.
And can shoot.
They do great. The next year after the championship, they had injuries. It didn't work out. That's part of the game. Then the year after that, they decide, hey, we need to take all these guys who are contributors and trade them in for one guy. Problem with that is twofold. One, if the one guy doesn't fit, like Westbrook didn't fit, you've kind of boxed yourself into a corner. But the other thing was you left nothing for your supporting cast. Their supporting cast was a bunch of guys that were not good enough to help this team win. Last year, they were all old and kind of living off of their scrapbooks. This year, it was a bunch of young guys who just hadn't proven anything. So they take Westbrook and they manage, and I said it at the time, other than the Durant deal, the Lakers had the best trade deadline out of any team because what they ended up doing was shoring up everything else. They got depth, they got shooting, they got defense, they got switchability, and that's all the stuff you need to be successful.
Who are the favorites in the West? You had to rank them. Amin Elhassan right now as we head into the playoffs. No, not considering matchups. Matchups are important because one of these good teams is going to get knocked out in the first round. Kevin Durant might advance, or he might get knocked out in the first round, and everyone's going to say it's a failure because he gets knocked out by Steph or gets knocked out by LeBron.
Well, Steph might get knocked out. Kawhi might get knocked out.
Before we start talking about favorites and getting knocked out, I do want to, because I talked about the Lakers, I talked about the Clippers, I talked about the Suns. The Warriors are the last piece of that. Now, everyone's pointing to their road record, which is atrocious. It might be one of the worst road records of a possible playoff team in NBA history. They've only won 9 games on the road.
No, it is. It has to be empirically. It's one of the worst teams we've ever seen on the road. But of any kind on the road. Not a playoff team. Any team that's ever played usually wins more than 9 road games.
No, because we have a handful of teams this year. Every year there are bad teams that don't win 9 games on the road.
Just to supplement what you're saying, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, the top 4 favorites to win the West are the Suns at plus 210. That's actually a pretty strong endorsement right there. The Nuggets, who are presently atop the conference, are at plus 330. The Golden State Warriors, reigning champions, are at plus 550, and the Grizzlies are at plus 600. The Lakers come in just behind them at plus 750.
So this is what I want to say about the Warriors, right? Because the Warriors have been terrible on the road, but the Warriors also have had a lot of problems with lineups where guys are just not available. Steph Curry missed a lot of time. He's played 50-some-odd games this year. Andrew Wiggins missed a ton of time. He's only played 37 games, right?
But he's coming back
now
soon,
he's coming back soon. And that's the big deal, Stugotz, because here's the deal. The lineup of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney. That's their standard starting lineup.
Right.
Played about 330 minutes this season. Of every single lineup in the NBA that's played at least 300 minutes, they are number 1 in offense, number 1 in defense, number 1 in net rating, number 1 in assist percentage. That's the number of field goals they make that are assisted. Number 1 in assist to turnover ratio. Number 1 in
everything.
In pace. They're number 1 in almost every category.
When Wiggins plays, when they're healthy, when everyone's there, when their championship team is there. Because you said this road record. I mean, the Pistons this year, are 7-32.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockets are 6-33. The Spurs are 7-33. And then it's the Warriors. They're with some teams that are just tanking.
In a best of 7, though, you just have to win 1.
I don't want to make assumptions because I'm sure there's some team that made the playoffs in like the 50s that was like 30-52 and ended up winning 9 games or whatever. But I'm fairly certain, at least in the modern era, this is the worst road team to make a playoffs, or we think are going to make a playoffs.
But you're saying what they put out there is not only championship pedigreed, it's also still the best thing when the 5 guys are out there healthy.
Yes, and obviously depth matters, right? So their ability of guys to come in off the bench and contribute. And
What's the sample on Durant, though? What's the sample on what the Suns have been when Durant's out there? No, if I make them 33 games, because everybody's thinking that that's the move, that the Suns made that move so that they could be better than the Warriors at all the things the Warriors do. Like that's... If in a narrative-based sport, Kevin Durant going to Phoenix to knock off the Warriors because his thing with Phoenix is the only thing offensively that can be as good as the Warriors.
I think if you promise me health, I think that what should be the two favorites are the Lakers and the Suns. But health is always such a huge question mark around those
over
two
the
franchises.
Warriors, though.
I throw the Warriors in there. I mean, they just went to Denver. They lost by 2 points. That was without Andrew Wiggins.
We don't trust Denver at all, huh?
So
you do?
No.
Well, who trusts Sacramento? Like, who trusts
Sacramento is a huge underdog in the Western Conference.
I mean, even Mike Brown said I'd be targeting us too if I were.
Are they all positioning to play Sacramento?
Yes.
Are they not?
Well, I mean, they're all positioning. I wouldn't say positioning to play Sacramento specifically, but yes, everyone kind of feels like, man, it'd be nice to play Sacramento because you're getting a bunch of guys who have not been here before. Their playoff experience is thusly: Harrison Barnes, who's a little long in the tooth; Delly, who's very long in the tooth; Sabonis and Herter, neither of whom have gotten out of the first round. And then everybody else, this is my first time at the rodeo. And the one thing that we know about the NBA playoffs, it's really hard in general to step in first time and be great at this. It's even harder to do it with a bunch of other guys who haven't done it. And then considering where Sacramento is, where they're looking at, we either have to play Golden State or the Clippers or the Suns or the Lakers. They're not going to play the Suns because the Suns, I think, are locked up 4. You're saying to yourself, well, hell, I got to go play against guys who have been there before and won championships, all those teams, and are veteran and have a level of experience beyond their star players that none of us have. That's really tough. The only thing the Kings have going for them is Mike Brown is an experienced coach. It's not his first time at the rodeo. So there is some mitigation there of he knows what to do, but what do you do with the players? They got to make the plays.
We need another saying other than first time.
Let's
at the
change
rodeo.
it. It's not my first time in the playoffs.
I got 3 words for you, Amin.
What's that?
Light the beam, because the Kings will get out the first round.
Uh-oh.
Book it, Kings in 4.
Book it. Kings in 4.
On air conviction. I'm liking what I'm hearing. Juju got it. It's a .4.
No, he's the only one out here believing in the Sacramento Kings.
Well, no.
Yes, sir.
No.
Me and Mike Sure.
Our next guest, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Gangsters. Juju coming with us?
Absolutely.
All right.
Where?
We're going to a Kings game, me and Mike Sure. I don't know if you know this.
Well,
No
nobody
one
did.
did.
You just decided you love having.
We talked about it on air. What are you guys talking about?
Now,
We were
listens to every
talking
single
Kings
thing.
basketball. I understood.
I heard you and Mike Sure say that last week, and I didn't know what you guys were talking about.
Amin loves to have these inside references that only 4 people
How is it
understand.
inside?
It's
It
bad
happened on the
radio. No one
show.
likes inside jokes.
I thought he was talking about the L.A. Kings.